Okay, let's go here. Understand them. This is important because testing will be easy. Okay.
What's endpoint again? Like if it has another layer or something, that's called endpoint. API endpoint.
Yeah, this is called the API endpoint.
Like if it has like another layer or another.
That's the endpoint. Oh, relative path.
Okay.
Relative path. You can call the after the domain name is the URI. We talked about if the category page has more category. If you be precise, you can call that endpoint. Under the category A, under there is a B. So B will be relative path. And you can call exactly endpoint. You can call the endpoint. B, you can call the endpoint. The whole thing is the URL. After the domain name, URI.
So it's like a specific like sign up or sign in, there could be like URI.
Yes.
It is like some kind of category and which has like many more category, that will be the API endpoint.
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we are not going to, okay. So API endpoint is, I think you guys have to go over this. Before the e-commerce project, we had another application, another platform. You do not need to worry about it. But the field force management, which is also the web-based platform, and I'm not, my goal is not the go with this, but that's also very good platform. We have it. We are not going to introduce with you guys, but the e-commerce has, the way the e-commerce has all the API, that platform has all the API too. So the reason showing this as the reference, you guys need to know not only the e-commerce has the API, other platform has the API too. That's the reason. The same. That has the mobile app user, that has a website user. So for the mobile app user. Okay, so authorize in Swagger, and the Swagger implementation is simple. So for the Swagger implementation, you will receive the URL from the DevOps engineer, or you will be receiving the URL from the product owner, or you'll be receiving the URL from the software engineer. And the way your environment works, you just simply ask the right people to get the information. Good. Let's go see. And now let's talk about the method. This is the method. Go ahead.
Is iOS and Android both developer use the same API or?
Yeah, in the backend same API. There's two different. He asked if we build an app for the mobile, the web, in the iOS and the Android. Yes, Android is use the programming language Android Studio. iOS use the Swift, right? Whatever programming language, I don't know. Yes, they will be using the same API, the sign-in API that backend developer has given to them to implement the sign-in part on the mobile app.
It's not going to create any interruption between them.
No. In terms of what interruption?
Like they're like two different whole platform, like Android and like,
No.
like iOS.
No, that's the good thing, right?
Yeah.
They are not driving anything. They are calling the API.
Oh.
In the modern application, everything is shell. Shell means empty. It's a beautiful lady. We can just see it, but she has no power. Everything is driving from the back end. It's like the all drama. Anything you see in the modern system, in the front end, all is like the drama. Control from the back end.
So we can say like the front end are different, but the back end are same.
Yes.
Okay.
You're right. Back end has to be the same. Back end is mechanism.
By what kind of code they use to write mobile application?
I said that Android or the Android, Swift, then the React Native, our app React Native.
What kind of code like
JavaScript.
JavaScript, right?
Android is Android programming language. Swift is Swift programming language. There is no what kind of code. This is the programming language. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so now let's come to the, what do we do in the website? We click something, we input our name, we update our information, we delete our information. Am I right?
Yes.
That's called the action. That's called the user action. And in the computer language, we call the HTTP method. Okay. In programming language, in computer language, in the web, we call the HTTP method. Get means you are reading something. Post means you are actually going into the system or creating the sign up or signing into the system. Put means you are updating your information. The way developer implement based on the user story, that's it. It is not your part. But I expect you to know the what get means, what post means, what put means. And the delete means you just deleted an email. Make sense? So that this 4 method is common. Now you can say, what happened in the vehicle? Same thing. Same thing. So if a vehicle app on the vehicle, and you are just downloading something on the internet, same method. Okay, they use more protocol, but for the uploading, downloading, communication, the same 4 method, same API they use. I was architect, so I actually designed it, so I know. Okay, so for all the connected vehicle features, RESTful API they use to communicate from the vehicle to the cloud, means backend. Now you guys know when you call the cloud, it means backend always. So the 4 method is when you read something, get. When you are updating creating something, in sign up, sign in, post. When you're updating something like the user information, the card information, the updating the cart, put, and the delete means I don't need it. That's it. So now let's go to the post method. What does it do? It tells you everything. Post requests are never cached. Post requests do not remain in the browser history. What does it mean? When you sign in, if you do not save it, it will not save it. That's what it says. Right? Every time you have to you type your username and password. If you do not save it, that's what it says. Post requests cannot be bookmarked. Can you do that? You cannot. Because you have to type the username and password. So that's what it says. And the post request have no restriction on data length. Anyway, these are all the like advanced thing, how the user story is guiding them. And the developer write the code. Okay. So what is put method? Put method is updated resource available on the server. Remember, your profile you are updating. You added the product in the cart, you are deleting, you are updating into 3, removing. So you're updating something. Make sense? You can make a new resource or override existing resource. Make sense? That you have a 5 cart, so you actually add 6 or you actually remove 1. That's what it means. Put request that enclose with must store under the supply URI. Again, URI means where you are actually making the changes. That's what it says. Walkthrough port, we'll be doing that soon. And what is the delete? Delete means if the user story tells user should be able to delete a product. That's it. User should be able to delete their username. That's a delete. Based on the user story. Good? So this 4 method, we always ask in the interview and you'll be always getting everywhere. So who write the code? Software developer. Who implement the Swagger? Software developer. Based on what? User story. And then what is the action or the HTTP method? Get, put, post, delete. I just explain you with the user story. I correlated. What the Swagger does, you will know. Swagger just help you before implemented on the website, mobile app, and the desktop app. That's what we'll be learning now. What is the API request body? We'll be knowing now. Okay, because all this logical. Request body is part of the HTTP request, and there is example .json. Request body tries to send additional information with the server information. Request body is data sent by the client to your API. Request body data is you're sent to the client. Your API almost always has to send the response body. To send the data, you should use the post. That's it say. Request body, how the request body works. Now we are going to start the implementation. Let's go. So now we are going to do the implementation. So now you see, this is the one, right? This is the one in the front end. And now we talked about, okay, everything is coming from the back end, right? So there is another URL. There is another URL. So let's go with that. If I can actually remember that.
For the administration access, right?
Backend,
Yeah, backend user.
not the administration. For the e-commerce application, there is be two portal. There is two web portal. One is as a seller. I'm adding all my product. That's the web portal also. That you can call the seller portal. There is as a customer, I am going to buy the product. There is two portal. The backend logic is completely different. Both the seller portal and the buyer portal all control from the backend, which is the API.
So what are you saying is like the backend access, like the administrator.
There is no, you cannot call the administration. You have to call the backend. Word backend is the right word.
Oh, okay.
That's the business logic. What the business logic? Sign up, sign in, based on the product for the e-commerce, right? Add the product, update the product, delete the product, a refund, right? The accept a buying. Everything is the logic for this platform. So staging BE, am I right? Is this the one? I don't know. Let's see if I have the, yeah. So there is a new one. Let's go see. Am I right? Prantu, do you have the link? I have the link. We'll give you a break in 5 minutes, then we can actually do all of this. Hello, Prantu, do you have a link?
Yeah, let me check.
Okay, 1 second. Let me, I can find it also. BE. Staging BE ecom. Staging BE. Okay. So look at this. Staging BE. BE. Slash, that's the URL. techsupport.com/doc. HTTP staging BE ecom .techsupport.com.doc. There you go. So everything is ready. So that's actually the backend URL. So this will not be accessed by anybody else outside of the company's internal employee or the development team. So here the word properly. This, the one will not be accessed by except the you guys development team or the company's internal employee. But what happened? Anything you touch, anything you do here, now will be correlating. Remember you did the sign up? You guys remember you did the sign up, right?
Yes.
So actually this, the API actually helps you to know what the sign up does. What is the sign up API does. So in this, you can find out it is the post and this is the endpoint. Endpoint for what? Sign up. Now you understand the user story, right? Things are making sense. And the Swagger does give you try it out. Swagger is not a testing tool. It just Swagger access is given to the entire development team. Who is the development team? Product owner, front end, back end, database, the cloud ops engineer, everybody has the Swagger access. But one thing I want to make it clear, the whole environment is prepared by the DevOps engineer. Test environment, staging environment, production environment. Each of the environment is prepared, maintained, designed, configuration, and owned by the DevOps engineer or cloud ops engineer. And we start with the development environment. Then the test environment for the testing team. Then the staging environment, mostly for the business. And the production is for the end user, which is the e-commerce application user. Makes sense, you guys know this. And a production is the last. Before the production, a user story, code is deployed in the development, and the code is deployed in the test environment. You have to say the wording in the right format. Test environment, code is deployed in the staging environment, and code is finally deployed and released to the production environment. So interview question we ask, where did you test? I test in test environment. I test in staging. Did you test in production? I did not test in production. Production you cannot test. You only verify high level. And where is the developer test? They test in the development environment. And we talked about what is the environment in the last workshop.
Is that like a white box testing?
We talked about all of this. Go back, please. So, and that's actually the come. So now for the sign up, look at this. It asks for the three things. Remember we wrote the acceptance criteria. The email can be any email, name, and password. So let's do one by one. And this is actually called the JSON format. So let me make it bigger. You guys have any question, by the way? Let me see. Nobody has any question. So Swagger, we got it. So now you can call, okay, what is the testing for me? The front end or the back end first? Back end first. And what type of tester you are? For the front end testing or the back end testing?
Front end.
You're both. Why the testing is start? In the back end. Why? Because this is actually the first part. If this logic is not working, don't you think it will be waste for the mobile app, website, desktop app? And that's everything is started with the backend testing. Now, things has to make sense, guys. Then you can speak precisely. So for this API, for this specific sign up URL, the endpoint, the API is asking for the three pieces of information. The whole is called the payload. It's called the payload. That's the industry language. And the whole thing is called the request body. And the whole format is called the .json. And everything has been mentioned there in this. This is all the technical word. Post is you have to pass the payload in the body. For the get, there is no body. For the put, there is a body, means this. There is a delete, there is a body. So we are in the post because the sign up is get or post. Who can answer? Sign up. Which post? Sign up is post because you are creating something. Make sense? You are reading the website. Post or the get? Get. Right? You are reading a page. Post or get? Depends. If you can read the page after login, then first post, then read. Make sense? But in general, the reading, clicking something you are able to read, you are able to view, get. Some resources are protected. Post. Some protected resource need to be updated. Put. Protected resource need to be deleted. Delete. That's it. Do not learn that. Do not just mess around anywhere else. That's all your scope. If you try more in the Google, you will be lost. So that's the precondition. You'll be living in the Google and YouTube. You'll not learn anything. You'll be behind. So kindly do not go. The one is covered here. That's it.
So when we use the Amazon website and we add something to our cart and move it around, that's called put, right?
Yeah.
So we are adding something.
When you sign up, post.
Post.
You can see it. Actually, you can see in Amazon website. I will show you now. We literally can show you. So let's put the email information. Gmail.com. Now this is the test data, right? Remember, we did the test data. So API test data and the web test data, mobile test data, all are the same format. Now you see this? You can maintain a test data in everything. You can categorize for the API, for the web, for the mobile. They're all same. As long as you maintain it. And let's put the password. We do not have a password requirement here. So let's put this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. You do not mess around anything. It will not work. You do not touch the payload. Then it will not work. Okay. Remember, as I said, the Swagger is a tried out for everybody. Everybody means development team. And then you can execute.
I think it's typing your name now.
I did. Yep. Thank you. So now I can execute here. Remember, I said the format is JSON. Remember, the RESTful API format is JSON. So now you can execute. What did it say? Good, but you got something else here.
This is user already existed, registered.
Good. So now you become familiar with the HTTP method. You got it? Get, post, put. Of course, it makes sense, right? If user exists, you need to get some message from the website. What do you see?
User registered.
Account already,
Exists.
email existing or name.
So in that's the friendly name for the end user can see it. For here, that's the exactly the backend how it's written. So now you will be hearing HTTP code against the action you are taking. 200 means successful. There is a series. There is a 100 series, 200 series, 300 series, 400 series, 500 series. HTTP 200 series means successful, means you have done something, system accepted it. Based on the user story, the way I say it, you have to say the same way. Do not manipulate the wording. And that's how when you say with any interview or any setup, professional setup, they will be calm and quiet. Okay. So HTTP method is your action. HTTP code means based on your action, system is telling you you are eligible or you are not eligible. 200 means you successfully created the way the developer is coded that implemented this 200 series. 300 is redirect. You will know this. Redirect means if you type something, you are typing, you are expecting ABC, and it actually take you to the Amazon. It's actually called the redirection. It's all behind the scene things are happening. You see, well, I see the documentation actually take you to the YouTube video. It's called the redirection. That's the 300 series. HTTP 300 series means this. Or you are typing, somebody's typing the text up for you, they are coming to the TS for you. Redirection. And 400 means as a user, whatever you are trying to do, you do not have access permission or access denied, or you're sending the wrong data. Correct? That's the 400 means. And 500 means you server 500 series is if the server is fully shut down. Of course, you cannot communicate, right? Or service means each specific API is down. Server or service can be down. That's the 500 series. Each of the series, each of the point is implemented by the developer based on the user story. And that this API specification is written by the architect. Okay, specification means the payload, the what type of user will be, what type of data will be. Data will be if it text, we call the string. It is a number, we call the integer. It's all defined by the architect on that project. But that's it is. So it is actually negative test cases. Remember we said as an existing user, you should not be able to log into the system. Remember that? So it did not allow the system, right? Because the backend is connected with the database and backend said, this user is trying to sign up. What do you think? And database is saying, well, we have the user already in the table.
This information already
Exists. So well, backend just make the logic. If you are existing user, we're not going to allow you to sign up again because it will be duplicate. System will not work. So that's the reason it's a negative.
So about the code, there is a code like we see most often, like 404.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Is the permission issue.
Like 404 error not found. That's the most common code.
Yeah.
We have also.
Yeah.
So what does it specifically mean again?
You are not access permission. You do not have access permission.
Like if you want something
No,
does not work,
remember again, based on the user story, whatever the meaning, they implement that meaning. But 400 series in general, you do not have the access permission.
whenever the website does not work. you
No,
should
do not
get
go with the
code.
website. Just understand this.
Yeah.
Based on the user story, whatever they said, the implementation, that's the implementation. But you to the point of your question, it is like the user does not have the access permission or data the user is trying to access is protected. That's it. Just all about the access permission. Good.